No matter what happens, no matter the stakes, Ultraman will be there. We're gonna do this together.
So I'm a feature animation geek. I love feature animation. There's something about the fact that every pixel of every shot in the whole film is completely made up and an artist has touched all of it.
Ultraman Rising was a challenge for ILM because we hadn't done a feature animation since Rango, and it was interesting to kind of dig back in and really see how we could kind of like push the pipeline to enter the world of feature animation.
It's actually kind of cool fighting monsters.
Creating the look of Ultraman Rising is a balance between the illustrative and the cinematography.
Seriously?
Oh my God.
We realised that it was never going to be one department that was really creating the final look. It was a combination of our texture artists working in Mari를, look dev and lighting in Katana, and then on to our compositors working in Nuke to bring everything together and produce the beautiful final images.
Everything starts with artwork. And the artwork we got from the Netflix team, from production design and art department, were just fantastic. They were passing everything through a cultural committee. So they had a sign-off that everything was authentically Japanese and really felt like it belonged in the world of Ultraman.
We had 1,600 shots, we had over 100 character builds, maybe up to 150 when you included all their variations, over 100 unique sets, thousands of individual assets and props. And your hero characters are in pretty much every shot, so it's volume production that needs to be consistent.
We were told from the beginning that what the directors want is not just an anime or a manga style. It's something a little bit different, a lot more stylized, just a unique mix between what everyone knows and something completely different.
In manga, there is this technique where they use posterized images where they've kind of photocopied them again and again, so they kind of like simplify the detail. So using Mari를, we were able to kind of utilize the ILM texture library, but then process those images in a similar way so that we could kind of really define all of the details in each sequence.
Lighting was an incredibly important part of how the characters look. We needed to sculpt them with light.
So went with a very defined lighting look, strong key light, core shadow, rim light. Quite often more than one rim light. Quite quickly, by giving new artists that simple recipe, keeping the lighting very simple but defined, meant that we could onboard people very quickly and get them up to speed with what we're trying to achieve.
The power of Katana is that ability to abstract as much of the heavy data away from the artist as possible. It's really a bit of a powerhouse when it comes to managing scenes of the complexity we had, as well as offering opportunities for multi-shot workflows. Obviously, you can't load 10 shots worth of data into a single session in any software, but that's the kind of thing that we're able to do with Katana.
It's always really easy to underestimate how much work goes into a single frame of something like Ultraman Rising. Working in Nuke allowed us to build a whole tool set to bring in all of the different aspects of the images that we were creating. We were bringing in the 3D models, we were bringing in line work that had been defined by the animation team, and all of the kind of lighting and rendering was split out into multiple layers so that we could kind of art direct every single piece of it.
We had an amazing base from lighting. We would apply extra occlusion, we would enhance those rim lights that were already present, and then add all the stylization after.
We had these super stylized moments. Maybe they were manga-inspired or anime-inspired moments, and the whole background turns very abstract and brightly colored. And those were completely done in 2D by compositing artists in Nuke, which meant they were working in Nuke in a much more creative, free-form kind of way than they probably have ever done before. And that's where I think the artists had the most fun.
At Netflix, maintaining our filmmakers' intent is really our ultimate goal. Working in HDR, that really provides the best possible opportunity to provide that best experience at home for our users. Our creative technologies team really grounded this workflow for color management based in ACEs.
Working in HDR is a challenge, even more so when artists have to work remotely.
We worked really closely with our colour team to come up with a LUT that would give them an approximation of what it should look like.
And then when coming into the office, the Nuke artists could then sit at a HDR setup and really fine-tune the contrast and saturation values that gave each shot its unique look.
The workflow that we established on this show was such a success, and it has really been sort of a blueprint for how we work on other shows.
We were such a close partnership from Netflix and the directors in the art department. It really felt like we were making the movie. Everyone was so invested. Really a lot of love went into this from everyone. So for me, it's one of the most wonderful projects I've ever been involved with.
It's so great to see how Ultraman Rising has been embraced by the fans, and they can see that we've really tried to be authentic to the Japanese origins and the heritage of Ultraman.
Ultraman, the ultimate babysitter.